All right, I just want to give my quick take on Zenless Zone Zero here. I'm a little behind just because I wanted to get through most of the game before actually giving my review. Um, in my wait, I realized a lot of people were kind of hasty in their reviews, and they made decisions that they probably backtracked on, which is fine because once you're presented with new information, you should be allowed to go ahead and backtrack and change your opinion based on the new information you got. So when I first started playing the game, I kind of saw the issues that they talked about. It was a little slow at first. It was the combat wasn't really engaging. It wasn't fun. Um, and the TV system was annoying. Uh, but as I continued playing, a lot of those issues went away. Once you get to this area and you unlock the Hollow Zero section of the game, the TVs become more fun. The combat overall, as you go through the stories, it doesn't become like difficult or challenging in any way, but it becomes more engaging. The game itself, when it comes to the combat, is all right. It's nothing great, but it's good, and I think that's what mainly hurt the game because it was advertised as a in-depth action-based game, like a fighting game, and I think that was a really bad decision. It was a terrible decision to advertise it that way. They should have just called it an action game and probably compared it to games like let me see, the Legends of Hyrule Warriors or like Dynasty Warriors, just a button mashing beat 'em up kind of game. And if they include more mobs in the game to make it like a swarm battle, that would be cooler as you fight off swarms and you make your way to the boss. I think that'll be perfect. It'll portray your character as being more epic, and I believe it'll just make the game feel more fun. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and go over the issues that I believe affected this game really quick. I know I kind of went over it a little bit, but I'm gonna go over it more in depth here. I do believe the way they add. We'll start with the bottom. The thing that I think affected the game the most, or least, that affected the game the least as to why it was popular was the way they named the game. Personally, I thought the ZZZ was funny. Um, Similar to games like League of Legends, which is LOL. I thought that was funny as well. ZZZ, a lot of people saw it and it looked like Z, like you're sleeping, and they people made jokes about it and made memes. But the thing is, there's a there's a silver lining to everything, and I do believe that people saw that it said ZZZ, and some people, not a lot. I'm pretty sure it's really the minority of people that thought this, but they still thought it. It's a boring game because it's called ZZZ and they're sleeping. And that could have affected how some people viewed the game before they even got a chance to play it. Now we've seen this before; it's happened before. It's mainly because of how someone sees something, they judge it without even actually playing the game, or without actually trying the product. Just because of the way it looks, they've already made a decision on how it's going to be without actually giving it a shot. So yes, I do think calling it ZZZ may not have been the best idea. Personally, I thought it was funny. It made me want to play it. I wouldn't say it made me want to play it. It just it made me guffaw. It made me laugh a little bit. But I gave the game a shot anyways. Although I do believe some people said, "Nah, it's a sleeping game for sleeping people," and that sucks because the game's actually pretty good in my opinion. All right. Next, we'll go to the thing I believe affected the game uh slightly more, and that's going to be the way the way the game progresses, the flow of the game. It takes a while before you actually get to the good portions of the game, like the Hollow Zero, and before the combat gets a little bit more engaging. The first parts of the game, you have this TV system, and it's brain dead as fuck, and it takes you out of the game, and it feels not good. Um, it doesn't feel good at all. It's just very straightforward. Walk left, go to the left TV, go to the right TV. Oh, I made it to the end, hooray! And that's not very fun. But like I said, once you get to the Hollow Zero, that TV system becomes more engaging and it's definitely more fun. Is it going to be breaking records or winning awards? No, absolutely not. But it is more fun. Now, some people will say I shouldn't have to wait 5 hours to play the game, and you know what? You're right. You're valid in that and thinking that if you don't want to spend 5 hours playing a game before it gets good, don't. If you don't want to waste your time, don't. But I am going to ask you to probably wait a little bit on reviewing the game. If you don't want to play the game, that's fine because you weren't interested in playing 5 hours or 20 hours before the game got good. I get it. But wait before you review the game because there's going to be more towards the end, in which you can, when players get there, they can, they can start making videos or reviews as to what the later portions of the game are. Then you can review it. This is the main reason I don't take game reviews seriously because they usually only play a couple hours, and they're only using their own opinion, rather than taking in a group source and then deciding like what you think or what the general consensus, what the general idea of this situation is. Um, so that's why it's also taken me a while to release this review because I wanted to see what other people thought and how they compared to mine. Sadly, a lot of people did not were not agreeing with me at the beginning. I didn't release my video yet until just now, which would have been opposing it. But of course, now that I'm releasing it, it's gonna be similar to what everybody else is saying, and that's fine. Um, Even though I liked it at the start, people are just now liking it. Although I do think you guys, people should give a game at least a little bit more time instead of just saying on day three the game's terrible. Like day three is not enough time to fully decide whether the game's bad or good. You need to give it more time, man. Either way, yes, I do think the flow of the game affected how the game was looked at because a lot of people just played a couple days and said it's not good when they definitely should have given it more time. Now I'm not gonna say keep playing it because if you do not want to play something you don't like, then don't play it. That's absolutely okay. Just hold off on the reviews until everybody's got a chance to until you've got a chance to actually look over the resource, look over information that you have yet to see. Either way, I do believe that was one of the reasons. I do believe the main reason that affected this game was probably the way it was advertised. People came in thinking it was gonna have an in-depth combat. It did not. It had a very straightforward mash 'em up game, and if they advertised it as just a button mash, beat the bad guys game, I think it would have been great. But I do believe another thing that greatly impacted the game was when it was released. They chose to release it after Weathering Waves, which is by far probably the more it's a more it's a more complicated, or the combat system's more in depth, and it's definitely more difficult when it comes to gotcha games. It is probably the hardest gotcha game I played, which is, again, it's not saying much. Gotcha games are extremely easy, and the combat systems aren't that in depth. But Weathering Waves did actually break that trend by making it slightly more difficult, and they actually made an in-depth combat system ish. Um, but then right after that, the DLC for Elden Ring came out. Now it's not a gotcha game, and it's nowhere in this the I don't think it's in the same genre as Zenless Zone Zero. A lot of content creators who played Wuthering Waves were and had fun with the intense combat most likely also played Elden Ring's DLC to actually see how difficult a game can actually be with intense combat, and coming out of a hard game into an extremely difficult game, because that Shadow of the Erdtree DLC was hard, was was hard. It was hard. Before they patched it, the game was hard. It was really difficult. I was able to get through it, but oh my god, I was frustrated. But I was still having fun. I was frustrated. By the time I got to the end of the Shadow of the Erdtree, I'm glad I beat it before the nerfs came out. But a little bit of me wished I waited. But again, this game came right out, was released right after those two games. Um, People are coming off this hype of very difficult game, and then they get into this, and the game's gonna seem completely the combat's gonna be completely muted. It's gonna seem so basic, so lame as compared to those two games. So I think that really worked against it. if it released if it at least be released before Elden Ring, I think it would have been okay. Because a lot of people were, oh, Wuwa was difficult, but I think they would have been able to say like, oh, the combat's okay. They wouldn't have been affected by how basic the combat was. The combat was, but since it released after Elden Ring, all those content creators just came out of a 100 death mesmer fight, and then they come into this, and of course, it's not even going to be close. Um, so the time of release, the way it was advertised, the flow of the game, and the naming of the game probably affected how people felt about it when it was when they poorly reviewed it. I do think people should give it a second look. Play up until at least until you get to the Hollow Zero. If you still don't like it, then go ahead and stop. Right, because this is honestly the best the game's gonna get when it comes to combat and the TV system. It's gonna be the Hollow Zero. And if you don't like it at this point, I don't see it getting much better than that. The boss fights are fun. You dodge, you counter, you attack, and you just beat the living crap out of them, and that's great. The character designs are amazing, including NPCs that are like this lady. Like she's not even a playable character, and she looks fucking great. Let's go ahead and look at some of the characters here. My favorite is Anton. That dude screams anime energy, and he's amazing. He's the best character by far. Then we have all these other characters here. I like most of them. I do think the game has a problem with lolis. There's like one, two, three, four, like six lolis in this game. And normally I wouldn't, it wouldn't bother me so much, but they put these lowly characters in like adult situations. By that I don't mean like like a not those adult situations, but I mean like this character here is the president of a construction company, and that's a little weird. Um, it, I'm not gonna get too into it. I'm just gonna say I don't like it. Okay, I especially don't like it when you put childlike characters in a position in a situation an adult should be in. Now, I know some of you are gonna say, well, they're just short people that look like kids, and I'm gonna say I don't care. It looks like a child. It's a child. I get it. Anime has this weird thing where they like to make these 1,000-year-old elven children. I don't care. It looks like a child. If it's your thing, I'll judge you in silence, or no, actually I'll judge you now. I don't like it. But if it's your thing, it's your thing. I don't care. I just don't want to hear about it. I wish there was more characters like Anton. He's definitely my favorite. It's very rare for me to find a male character that I make my favorite character, but Anton is just he's so fucking awesome. I usually go for characters like Nicole, Rena, Grace, and Ellen for obvious reasons. They're all really cool, but and honestly, uh, Rena or Grace probably what do I call did I call it the wrong name last time? Well, either way, Rena and Grace probably would have been one of my favorites until I met Anton. I met him in the story, and when I was rolling for Ellen, I fucking failed, and I ended up getting a second Lycan, which I was kind of pissed about because I really wanted Ellen, but it's okay. Um, in the process, I got a shit ton of Antons, and I'm okay with that. He's currently my main damage, and I love using him. He's cool. He's probably gonna be on my team for as long as. The farming system's the same. You have energy. You go out. You kill like designed mobs. Like right here, you got the hunt system to get some special materials. You could. There's also another one called the HIA. It's like a VR. It's flavored as a VR system. You can farm materials there. You can farm for materials there as well. Uh, so that's just your basic free to play gotcha farming system that you kind of have going on for you. So my final rating of the game. Um, love the music. Love the animation. Love the voice acting. Um, I just want to say I love the music again because that shit's so good. The music in this game is so good. It goes so hard. Um, voice acting good, animation good, facial expressions are great, atmosphere is amazing. I just love the world design; it's so good. Combat is meh, and that TV system's a bit meh too, but it's enjoyable. It keeps me entertained, so I'm not gonna hit it too hard. I would give this game a 7 out of 10. I do enjoy it. I do think it's fun. I do think it's worth your time to. If you quit, just play it a little longer. Get to the Hollow Zero if you haven't. If you have and you still don't like it, go ahead and put the controller down and find something else you do enjoy. Don't waste your time on a game you don't like, right? Either way, that's what I gotta say about the game. 7 out of 10. We'll keep playing it. We'll keep doing my dailies. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and head over to Once Human because I am loving that game. Once Human, it's so good. You guys can catch me on Twitch playing that game, or you can go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, to catch any new videos I may be releasing. Leave any comments below disagreeing with what I said, or bringing up points that I might have missed, or maybe you wanted some commentary. I know you probably noticed I'm not using my little bear animation anymore. That's because the applications I was using, it was fucking up my computer. So I'm probably going to be doing this from now on. Maybe occasionally I'll bring up the bear if I feel like it. I'm also planning to do some painting streams. You can see my easel back there. I'm not the best, but I do enjoy painting. So you can probably catch me doing that sometime. All right. Well, let me know what you guys thought about this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.